Three, two, one. Hey Rockstar, try this thought on for size. A lot of problems can be solved by just removing some foods, some people, and some habits in your life. I got that off of another Absolute Mindset on YouTube. Welcome, Rockstar, to episode 87. It's gonna be a good one.
And Miguel, do the thing, yo.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Let's go.
Hey Rockstar, welcome. This is a show devoted to bringing value to those interested in starting a side hustle or side business. Whether you're looking to be dual vocational, full-time, part-time, or sometime, I bet our stories will entertain you, encourage you, and empower you to become the rock star of your business and industry.
Welcome back. So glad for you to join us. Welcome to today. We have episode 87 of Hey Rockstar. I'm your host, Josafat El Guapo Emiliano. And today I have another good friend of mine, entrepreneur, business owner, all the way back from Nashville, Tennessee. Today I'm coming to you from San Antonio, Texas. But Mr. Alan Davis is joining us today from my home back in the East, back in Nashville, and I kind of miss it. And I miss you, my man. But other than that, how are you doing today, Alan?
Dude, I'm good, man. You missed the fungi part, man. You know, I'm the mushroom guy, you know. No, I'm good, bro. I had a good productive day, met with some people we're bringing on into the crew, went to Pinewood, got some lunch, had a couple meetings, just a good Monday, man, to kind of get some stuff done and start setting stuff up for our future seasons, because Fungus Ranch, which is our business, is got some great potential, and we're getting ready to go do the thing.
All right, we're going to talk more about that. First, let me just address something with the folks, because you mentioned Monday, even though this thing is airing on Wednesday. And yes, because we're pre-recording this, simply because our schedules couldn't work out for the Wednesday that we want to air this. And also, there's a good chance that I will be traveling again. But that's the life of this rock star. And also, for those of you who are joining us for the first time, know what we are. We're just a story sharing platform where we bring in stories from other business owners, other part-time hustlers who have done it, to bring you encouragement, entertainment, and empowerment to go and become the rock star of your part-time business, your part-time hustle, your industry. So at this point, I will remove my shades so we can go and go deeper. Oh yeah, because people like to see my eyes for some reason.
See my eyeballs.
So Alan is a very low energy individual. No, just kidding. No, he's one of the fun people. One of the first people that I met whenever I started going to Rocket Town, and we've served in the trenches doing production and learning media, and also doing helping friends move their band equipment around while he was also playing in the band. It's just great.
Yes.
All along, great, talented man, a very gifted cook as well. Those of you who've who've seen my show know that I had Alex Tinker once upon a time, who was a very talented cook. Well, these two guys had gone to head to bed, or they've worked together, and I've been blessed to be one of the recipients of having been served by two amazing people at the same time. So imagine that. But anyway, today we're going to celebrate you. We're going to talk about your business, which is a very interesting business to begin with, for some. But you've been at it now for how many years now?
It's been 2 years now. Our second birthday was this June. Started in 2021.
Well, give us a little bit of explanation. Just describe us a little bit of your business, if you wouldn't mind.
Sure. Well, yeah. Our business is called Fungus Ranch. My friends call me the fun guy because I'm the fungus man. Pero en español, mis amigos dice Alan de Hongos, which is Alan of Mushroom.
Island de hongos. I like
Because the
that.
fungi doesn't really translate. And then also I'm AKA'd as El Hombre de la Basura, which is a big
Trash
part of
man.
what we do. Yeah, the trash man. I don't like to throw away food waste. Food waste sucks is a thing I say often. But Fungus Ranch at its core started at kind of came out of necessity in 2021 because I was fortunate. I've been a chef for 10 years now. And while I was in the music industry, like you said, playing in bands, making records for pretty much from 2010 until right up until 2020, I was still making records and playing with Jimmy. We had our worship band together, had a couple other artists I was playing with, but also always doing the chef thing. And Fungus Ranch kind of came out of being a chef. I got a little disenchanted with the music industry and wasn't really looking at that as a career anymore. And I realized I needed something a little more stable. So I went towards chefing. And I was always a good cook. My grandma taught me how to cook when I was a little kid. My mom taught me how to cook. And I grew up on a cattle ranch. So I was always around food and went into being a chef full time in like 2017. And right around then, I also fell in love with fermentation. I actually blame Ben Crosland for this. Shout out to Ben. Because I remember one time we got together and hung out and brewed microbrew beer together and made kimchi. And that was like when I was like, wow, this is really cool. So got some books, really dove deep into the fermentation aspect, making kimchi, vinegars, misos, soy sauces, anything like that. And that became a big passion of mine. And right around when I started learning about all that, I had an opportunity to work at a restaurant in Nashville here called the Old School, just out in Ashland City. And they had a farm out there, and it was working with a lot of local farmers. Everything was about as local as you could get. And they were looking to go to a zero waste initiative and use as much food waste as possible back into the restaurant. So I'm like, oh, well, I know how to do all of this new stuff now. So for a year and a half, pretty much from 2018 all the way to the end of 2019, I was able to work there as essentially a sous chef. I worked in the restaurant. I did all the fermentation, specifically focusing a lot on keeping food out of the trash. Hence, that developed into this kind of motto I have of food waste sucks. So I carried that mentality, and it really changed a lot for me. And, towards the end of 2019, I was looking for ways to grow beyond just being a cook and being a chef. And an opportunity presented itself within that same company to run a mushroom farm, which was right across the street from the restaurant. So in February of 2020, I started working and running a mushroom farm. A month after that, COVID.
Oh.
So I look at that as like, man, God was looking out for me. And because everybody in the restaurant lost their jobs, the restaurant shut down. And I was just over there in a bunch of shipping containers in Ashland City growing mushrooms all by myself. And I learned so much so quickly. And within like 2 months, I was running the whole facility. I had hired a good friend of mine to come in and be part of the team. And we were making our own fruiting blocks. For those who don't know, mushrooms like you get in the store or like grown on poop. That's not the kind of mushrooms we do. We grow on wood-loving mushrooms, oyster mushrooms and lion's mane mushrooms, shiitake mushrooms, the ones that you eat. And then there's some varieties of functional mushrooms as well. So I did that for the entirety of 2020, all the way up until March of 2021. We were a USDA certified GAP, which is Good Agricultural Practices Farm. We were making all of our own fruiting blocks, doing all of our own lab work, growing anywhere from 750 to 1,000 pounds of mushrooms every month. And that was a life-changing experience for me. Started working more, and again, applying that food waste sucks mentality to our farm. So not only did we donate a lot of mushrooms to local nonprofits, food banks. And then there's this really cool place at Belmont called The Store, which is actually run by Brad Paisley and his wife to help serve the food desert right there in Edge Hill. Donate a lot of stuff to them, but still, I had a lot of mushrooms. So I was always R&Ding and figuring out ways to keep those mushrooms out of the trash. A lot of dehydrating and turning them into powders and salts and stuff like that. And then I started understanding and growing into understand the power of koji, which koji, if you don't know what it is a filamentous mold fungus. Think about it as a mushroom without the mushroom. Just mycelium that is traditionally grown on rice, and it's used to make sake, soy sauce, miso, amazake, all that jazz. Very big in Japanese culinary tradition. So I learned about that because if you can grow mushrooms, you can grow koji. It's a lot less intensive and easier to go. And right as I was getting like super motivated to like, all right, we're going to make these things, do this stuff, I was unceremoniously fired on my birthday. Wow. And I was like, and that came out of a lot of reasons, essentially disagreements with management. I was getting scapegoated for a lot of things that weren't really my fault. You know, I was given enough rope to hang myself, but not enough to finish the job. So getting fired in March of 2021, again, was actually one of those just like blessings in disguise. And I attribute that process of going through all of that to helping me like believe in myself again. And as soon as I was fired, it wasn't like I got all depressed and sad and sat in my room and just like, woe is me. I immediately jumped into making Fungus Ranch a reality. So I got fired in March. We grew and sold our first mushrooms in June of 2021. And that was 2 years ago now. And since then, we've grown from just being culinary mushroom dealers to my goal is to be a resource to our chefs, but also to be a resource to other mushroom farmers, other mushroom businesses. I've been really fortunate to have a fair amount of notoriety gained in Instagram just because the mycology and fermentation communities in Instagram are very active. So I've met a lot of that community of mycologists, mushroom businesses, and ferment people and ferment businesses. It's very small. It's only like 200-300 people maybe in the entire country. And I've gotten really lucky to get to know a lot of these guys, get to know what their problems are, get to know about what they need, what's hard, what works, what doesn't. And Fungus Ranch has now kind of starting to become this thing that's just, it's its own living thing now. You know, it exists to create wins for our community of people. So like, not only do we grow mushrooms and make products, but like we R&D and develop products for other people to white label. You know, they aren't chefs, but they want to do something that's good. I'm a chef. I'm a food safety and fermentation and recipe guy. I know how to do all of this. So we've applied it to this mentality of be like the mushroom. Work with your community to enrich your environment, and then you all win together. So Fungus Ranch has grown into this thing that's not just about me anymore. Like I said earlier, I had a meeting with some new team members we're looking to bring on to, start building our team to create a larger impact to help get people these mushrooms that are not only delicious and make delicious things, but there's medicinal, real healing potential in mushrooms like lion's mane, mushrooms like cordyceps and reishi and chaga and turkey tail, all of these good things, which I've come to understand God made this medicine for us. It grows out of the ground and out of trees that can nourish our bodies, can heal our bodies and our minds. And I've experienced it firsthand. So it's grown into something I never could have expected when I started it. But it's something I've become really proud of, and I'm really glad I get to steward it how I have so far, and I'm super excited for the future.
Well, dude, thank you for giving us I like to say the Batman origin story of your business and how you got to that aspect. Yeah. So let's look at some practical things. Let's put some value out of what you've learned, so that people who are inspired possibly of doing some kind of farm, or maybe they want to learn about fermentation, they can at least get a few nuggets of wisdom from you. So I guess the first thing I'd like to ask you from this point on is, When you first started, what were some obstacles or just some challenges that you found yourself as a business owner?
Well, one, I didn't know anything about business. Um, and I just knew basics. And something that was really good, that was a piece of advice that I feel like everybody gives you, my dad and my grandpa gave it to me, is work for people who are smarter than you. And I really got a good crash course in learning like the basics of business working for Julio Hernandez of Maíz de la Vida. And they're a wonderful, amazing heirloom corn and traditional Mexican food concept in East Nashville. I owe Julio a ton. He put me on blast and helped gain me notoriety in the city, but he also included me in how the business ran, how the margins worked, how he food costed things, how he made sure he was ahead and making money and not losing money. So that was the big one. Was I didn't really know much about running a business. I just knew how to grow mushrooms. But finding a mentor or working with somebody who knew more than me was definitely the number one thing that I did that really helped me out. And working for Julio, one, was great because I learned a lot, but two, he's a lifelong friend now and helped me gain a lot of notoriety in the culinary scene in Nashville.
I like that, and that's important. That's a mentorship. That's what most people don't understand. That at least in this industry, or just in any industry, any kind of business endeavor, if it's the first time you want to try something, there's a good chance you don't know it. That's why you're trying it out. That's kind of why it caught your interest. Because one of my guests, Gregory, you remember Gregory?
Yeah.
Did you? Yeah, the pizza.
Pizza guy.
The pizza guy.
Yeah.
He mentioned
Guy
that.
got his grandma pies. Yeah.
He loves when you call him the pizza guy.
Well, I'm the mushroom guy. I can't get mad.
No, he had mentioned in his interview that when where's I going with this? Talking about mentorship. Challenges. He goes, he loves the challenges because sometimes challenges, if it weren't for the challenges in his business, he might get bored or disinterested. That's what he used. Because some people are bred for adventure finding, seeking. But other than that, but most of the people, and this is something that's true to everyone, that if you really want to succeed, find someone who's done it, who's done what you want to do, and just follow their lead and possibly do it faster. Well, let's move on, brother.
Well, I do have another challenge that I will put out there, just for anybody who's interested in like the fermentation stuff. Mushrooms. The thing that's great about mushrooms is not everybody, but getting chefs and people to be interested in mushrooms is easy. If I show up with a beautiful tub of mushrooms, they're immediately, I got their attention. But with the fermentation stuff, that was something that, and some of this higher level mushroom medicine techniques and stuff like that, people don't really understand it. So there is this level of like, the challenge for me was finding a way to dumb it down, say less, and be more concise, and find ways to describe these things to people in ways that don't go over their head. And honestly, it's funny because speaking in Spanish and like managing staff in Spanish and trying to get them to understand these things in Spanish, it's like, okay, I only know like 10 words. How can I say this as simply as possible? So that was a big challenge. The big challenge was getting chefs, particularly chefs, but also just the average consumer, to understand what this stuff was. And that challenge required me to kind of look at myself and think hard about, how can I simplify this? How can I make this easier to understand? And that's still a daily thing that you need to do every day. Yeah. But that's definitely, those two were some of the big challenges. We're just like learning about how to actually do business, but it didn't stop me from doing like, $80,000 in revenue our first year in business. We still did it. We just learned a lot along the way.
That can be applied to a lot of things. I don't want to say dumb it down, but you simplify it for the masses.
You got to make it accessible.
Yeah, that's
enough
it. Accessibility.
To grab their interest and make them think, ooh, what? And then they want to maybe know a little more, and then they ask questions, or then they're curious enough to go and look into it on their own. and then you continue to engage your people in conversation. And that's been the cool thing, is finding ways to keep people interested too. And yeah, it's been fun though. It's definitely challenges, but it's been fun. It's been a fun journey though so far.
Do you tend to get a lot of I mean, I'm sure you get repeat customers, but does this tactic also help you bring in like new first time adventurers?
It depends, man. With fermentation and with mushrooms, you either got them or you don't. Like, it's definitely it's because people are like, ew, mushrooms, oh good, or what? Fermentation, ew, gross. You know, there have definitely been some people in my life close to me who have had that mentality, and that's been hard to kind of overcome. But I mean, I'm kind of with that mentality. It's like, cool, well, you don't want to learn about it? Cool, you're not going to learn about it. You don't have to try it. You don't even have to enjoy it. I just know that eating fermented foods, it's good for your body. It's good for your gut. Taking mushrooms, whether it's culinarily or medicinally, it's good for you. Like, you can believe me or not. So thankfully, with this mushroom boom and everybody being more interested in it, there are more people who are more interested. 9 times out of 10, most people are interested. And that's something that I can't manufacture. That's great. People have that interest. And yeah, I do tend to get people coming back. Yeah, it's because they're interested. And the longer I do this, the more there's kind of like fixtures in my life. People who have bought koji from me, 2-3 years ago. They're like, "Oh, hey man, I need some more koji," or, "Oh, hey, I'm working on this project. What do you think about this?" Because Instagram has been great for this, because it's like I get to know people all over the world who like think what I'm doing is cool, which is like, I mean, that's a gas up in its own right. And we talk about these things and we help each other, and that's been cool. Yeah, it's not been as hard. The longer I do this, the less difficult it is to get people to like buy into it, which is fun and good and great. Because the other way around.
No,
It
I
would
get
not
it.
be good.
And I'm not a big fan of mushrooms per se. Like, I don't seek them out, but I can appreciate them when they're suddenly find a mushroom or two in my salad, or the special recipe or the whatever dish they prepared has mushrooms, but it's prepared a certain way. I'm willing to try it out. I'm not turned off. And the fermentation stuff, I started eating more fermented things when I was there in Nashville, especially when I started going to like Korean restaurants and other I want to say Asian-based restaurants that they use highly fermented things, and of course, I guess because in Mexico, the only thing I knew about fermentation were jalapenos and carrots.
Yeah. Well,
That's about it. Pickled jalapenos.
the big fermentation traditions in Mexico obviously are agave and
Oh yeah,
tejuino and pulque. And a lot of those go to like alcohol. But the thing
yeah.
that's really funny about, you look at like the thing that I mean, working for Julio, like I learned a lot about Mexican cuisine. The thing that's really I found very interesting about Mexican cuisine and like Italian cuisine versus Japanese cuisine is there's a lot of really interesting crossovers that you wouldn't think about. And the most interesting one is obviously, you know what nixtamal means, right? It's the
Nixtamal.
Nixtamal is the way you cook the corn in traditionally ashes from a fire to break
Oh
down
yeah.
the starch and stuff in the corn so it can be turned into tortillas and still have enough starch to be a good tortilla. Traditionally, it
Yeah.
was done with ashes.
I didn't know that.
In Japanese food tradition, when growing koji, early koji masters would toss their grains in ashes, because what the ashes does is make this thing alkaline. And when you make something
Oh
alkaline or acidic, it edges out competition. Koji likes alkaline environments. And it's literally two cultures on the other side of the world using ashes as a way to reinforce stuff in grains. In Mexico, it was corn. In Japan, it was rice, to isolate for specific traits. In Japan, they're trying to get a specific mold to grow on it, koji. In Mexico, they're trying to mildly ferment this corn and cook it in an alkaline environment to make it palatable and make the nutrients more bioavailable and make the starch more pliable so you can make good tortillas. When I learned that, I was like, wait, what? And it just blew my mind, because that type of stuff happens more often than you think. And these technologies are millennia old. Like in Japan, you're talking about going back to like the emperors and the samurai. And in Mexico, you're talking about going back to like the Mayans and the Aztecs. And they're using similar things on similar things. So it's cool, man. I always wonder what would have happened in Mexico had the conquistadors not come and screwed everything up. Maybe we would have koji in Mexico. Who knows?
I might not be here.
That's also fair. That is also fair. But yeah, it's a crazy thing, man.
I like that. I've noticed cultural similarities in different places when I've traveled, but in structure, in the way they do their buildings, and even in certain lifestyles that certain people have. Although, yeah, it's vastly different depending on the terrain. But when you just observe people, I've noticed there's a lot of similarities from Latin America to European places. And I guess it could be with the conquistador period was they brought traditions and thought. But I've always, as a kid, that always fascinated me, that like I was in Israel and I felt like I was in Mexico City, the clean part, different things. But
yeah.
But other than that, all right, let's get back to asking you. So now that you've already got 2 belts under your belt for this, 2 years under your belt for this, what have been just some big lessons, life lessons you've learned from your experience in this industry, or big takeaways that you like? Oh, that's valuable. That's valuable.
Efficiency is key. Number one, efficiency is key. When doing any kind of business and any kind of project within a business, especially when it's just you, because I mean, for the first year and a half, it was just me until I brought on a partner. And now we're in another phase of bringing on more team members to help do it. A lot of what we've done has been to keep things efficient, because nothing will hurt your relationships, hurt your friendships, hurt your life and your joy than having something that you can't ever walk away from, or it takes so much time, it's not really worth it. Efficiency is key, is the number one. Whether it's, our signature mushroom sauce that we created, that was born out of what is the most efficient way I can make something out of all of these waste mushrooms. I could dehydrate them and make salt and powder. It's like, oh my God, but then I got to go through and pick apart all the mushrooms. Then I got to dry them, and then I got to grind them, and then I got to mix them together, and then I got to put them in a jar, and then I got to go sell it. With the mushroom sauce, it's like, cool. I throw koji, salt, water, and mushrooms in a bucket, throw it in an old refrigerator that I keep at 140 degrees, and in 6 weeks, I basically got mushroom soy sauce. Press it through a cider press, stick it in bottles, and pasteurize it. Done. Super efficient. And we got good margins on it. We make like 75% is profit on that product. Low labor.
Wow.
Low work. And it's a delicious and fantastic product. It doesn't take a whole lot of work to make it happen. And again, also in the name of efficiency, making sure our scale and how quickly we grow and how much business we take on, making sure we can do it in an efficient manner. Because again, otherwise I'm working, I still work 15-hour days most days, but it's not 15 hours a day in a mushroom farm, daily my mushroom farm work is like 2 hours. I maybe work 8 hours a week on the actual farm. The rest of it is working on the business and making stuff happen. So yeah, efficiency is a big one. And also, when the other big lesson that I've learned is when it comes to dealing with clients, bringing people into your team, vendors, whatever. If people show you who they are, believe them. If they act like a shithead, they are shitheads. If they act fair and treat you with fairness, they are fair and good people. And they're going to show you that from the moment you meet them. And it's really good, especially as Christians and as good-hearted people like you and I are, coming from a lot of tight community with people who have our best interest at heart. Going into the business world, it's different than that sometimes, man. People,
Yeah.
especially chefs, have egos. And a lot of people have egos in general, and if I've had to learn and I've lost clients and I've even let them go because I went after, I need to make a money decision. I need business. And I overlooked certain aspects of these partnerships or these clients or these people. I was like, oh, well, they're paying me. Yeah, but I should have watched it. One client, for instance, 6 months went by and they owed me like $8,000. And I had to call the CFO of the club to get my money because the chef and the purchasing guy just were being shrewd and not nice. And I saw what the kitchen was like. I saw how they acted. I saw how bad they were at communication. That was a red flag. And now I know when people show you who they are, believe them, because they will show you who they are very, very quickly. And we live in a world where people don't abide by that. So a lot of people think they can get away with being a poor human and continue to do stuff and just step all over people. I've learned how to not make that happen anymore, at least less often.
Hold up, I'm losing you, Alan.
Can you hear me?
I'm not sure if it's my end or your end. Yeah, but you're frozen for a little bit. All right, you're
I am
back.
frozen.
I think you're back.
Okay. Yes. But yeah, if people will show you who they are, they will. And when they do, believe them. And make sure that you watch out for those things, because not everybody's going to be your friend. Not everybody's going to want to help you out. Most people are going to want to help themselves out. But also, you get lucky sometimes. You get people who do want to work together and do want to collaborate. And that becomes a good gatekeeping procedure to keep your business in the lane you want it to go. And it keeps you from making decisions to get involved with people out of necessity. You get involved with people in businesses because it's a smart move.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why they said don't work with your relatives sometimes. But on the other end, I hear that's the best place to hire from your family.
It depends on your family dynamic, I guess, right?
But your family. Your family has shown their true colors, hopefully by now. Whomever.
Yes.
I'm not talking about you, Minnie. I'm talking about in general. But other than that, no. This has been good. Before I ask the last question, or we can wait till afterwards. I would like to hear. This is off the cuff, but I would like to hear the story on why you are so passionate behind the positive benefits of mushrooms.
Well,
Do you know what I'm referring to?
Yes, of course. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. We talked about this before. The big reason, well, there's a couple reasons. I'll start with the simple ones, and then I'll go into the extended release version. First off, it's just like my background as a kid was in agriculture, and my family owns USDA Black Angus prime farm in Montana. So ever since I was like 5 years old until I was like 20, I was pushing cows, putting up hay, face to face with where my food comes from. I've been this deep in a cow before pulling a baby out of it. So like that was always something that was a big part of me, was hardworking, and agriculture was always something that was there, but I never really thought about it as a career. And so that was one part. When I just got this job at this mushroom farm, there's something super rewarding about growing something, like putting in work, sowing a harvest and reaping it. It's a biblical concept, and it's super fulfilling. And again, given my history, it lit something inside of me. And then the longer I did it, the big one that really came to help me understand was a lot of what we call functional mushrooms. Because obviously you have culinary mushrooms like oysters, shiitake, cremini and button mushrooms like you find in the supermarket. Then you have psychedelic mushrooms like psilocybe cubensis. That's another thing of like, there's wonderful amounts of research that are starting to come out now about how that can help with depression, anxiety, PTSD. I know veterans who have used microdosing and macrodosing to help deal with their PTSD after coming back from Afghanistan and Iraq, and like watching their buddies get blown up and just having nightmares and depression and all of this stuff, and having a psychedelic experience and then microdosing really helped them. And then the final one though is this mushroom right here, lion's mane mushroom. It does the same type of thing that psilocybin mushrooms can do. They promote what is called neurogenesis, whether you take it in macro or microdosing. Neurogenesis means healing your brain, new neural pathways, helping nerves regrow and heal themselves. So when you have traumatic brain injuries, PTSD, depression, all of that is to do with parts of your brain being out of balance. The lion's mane mushroom helps do that without any psychedelic effects, obviously. It's legal. 2, it's an incredibly delicious culinary mushroom. It's full of immunity-boosting properties, but those beta-glucans and other bioactive compounds help promote neurogenesis. When I started working on that farm, I integrated it into my diet and started taking tinctures, which is basically it's either a water and or alcohol extracted version of the mushroom. Those liquids pull those bioactive compounds into the liquid so your body can absorb them more easily. I started taking them to help with my mental clarity and my brain fog and just general focus, because I was part of the test bed generation for let's give meth to kids because they're hyper. So I have ADHD and I'm fairly certain I have high functioning autism. So when I was a kid in 2nd grade, until I was in like a sophomore year in high school, I was prescribed Ritalin, Concerta, and then Adderall, like 30 to 40 milligrams a day, which is a lot. It's a lot. Yeah. And I came to realize after a long time, it's like, it's not a disorder. It's not a disease. It's just a different way of looking at things. And your brain just kind of processes stuff differently. I also came to understand that I was in 2nd grade, man. My brain wasn't even finished developing.
That's true.
Those amphetamines likely injured my brain. And I know from my experiences with using cannabis, again, for same reason, focus and clarity and trying to help with those symptoms of ADHD, that my brain became dependent on, I call it the grease. I have gears in my brain that turn. It became dependent on some external source of lubrication to get through the day, to do what my brain naturally needed to do. When I discovered the lion's mane mushroom and started taking it now, it's been 3 years, saved my life. Literally saved my life. It took me from a place of like super short fuse, like any little things would get me angry, not like angry at like, but just like frustrated, like, damn it, why is this so hard? Like, stupid thing, like very tough, clunky mental processes. I couldn't focus very well. I had a hard time like remembering stuff. I had a hard time motivating myself. I dealt with anxiety and depression. But the longer I've been doing that and, coming in contact, again, Instagram was great with this, coming in contact with these other makers of high quality mushroom medicine. And I really got that high quality stuff, like the good dual extracted, responsibly sourced, USDA organic, USA grown.
Yeah.
Man, it was like going from like 50% operating capacity to like 90% operating capacity. And it was like, oh my God, is this what normal people's brains are like? And it's like, it's made it easier for me to think. It's made it easier for me to articulate my thoughts. It's made it easier for me to stay calm. It's made it easier for me to like learn to believe in myself. Like, I attribute a lot of like the personal growth that I've had. Obviously, going to therapy was a big part of it, but taking these mushrooms, this lion's mane mushroom for clarity, this reishi mushroom for anti-anxiety and good sleep and healing of your muscles, these cordyceps mushrooms for energy and focus, and learning how to apply them as natural medicine has healed my body in many ways, has healed my mind in many ways. Like the lion's mane mushroom, particularly, as I went into it with like, I want my brain to work better. And it's done that. I feel smarter, less clunky, more focused, more driven. And hell, I don't even drink coffee anymore, Hosa. I drink lion's mane tea in the morning. I haven't had coffee in 3 months. And then, like, I mean, I don't drink alcohol anymore.
I haven't had coffee today. I'm feeling it.
Bro, I don't even, it's like, it literally, I believe wholeheartedly, and there's evidence to support this. You can, anyone who's listening, and you again can go look it up. There's a lot of studies about the effects of lion's mane mushroom on nerve growth. They use it to treat Parkinson's, dementia, Alzheimer's, a lot of nerve and neurological conditions that, I mean, I'm living proof, man. Like I am the best version of myself now. And lion's mane mushrooms and mushroom medicine has played a huge role in that. And the reason, and that's become the passion of what I want Fungus Ranch to be, is I want us to be an intermediary and a resource for not only mushroom companies, because not all mushroom farmers are chefs, and not all mushroom farmers have the understanding of how to turn products into things, but also to make products to get these things into people's hands. Because I talk to people all the time who are on Adderall or these amphetamines for ADHD, or they're on SSRIs for depression, or they're on painkillers for neuropathy or injuries or any of these things. And it's like, man, it's got the ability to heal you. It's got the ability to change your mind. Like, it's tied in a lot into my faith as well, because it's like I look at the opportunities that have come out of my life because of this. I look at the self-actualization I've gained as a result of using these natural medicines, and the technology and the studies of using lion's mane, using reishi, using cordyceps, even using psilocybin mushrooms in legal states has shown how helpful it can be to people. And I know how much it's helped me. So I mean, my life's work is going to be getting these things into people's hands, helping them to understand mushrooms are literally magic, and not just the like actual magic mushroom kind. Like every mushroom is magic. Every mushroom has the ability to help you heal your body. And if I can just, my whole goal is to build Fungus Ranch to the point where we are the resource for, you want good mushroom products? Go to fungusranch.com. They not only make good stuff, they know all the good people who make good things. Because the reality is, right now, the mushroom industry is in a boom. Similarly to like where the cannabis industry was 10 years ago, flooded the market with products, but only like 10% of them are actually any good and actually have efficacy that you're going to feel a difference and you're going to notice a difference in your life. You know, a lot of them are bringing mushroom powders in from China, which like, mushrooms are like little air filters. If you have bad air quality and there's benzene and lead and toxins in the air, it's going to wind up in your mushrooms. You know, so sourcing the stuff here in the US of A from farmers that I know that are growing it on organic substrate, so that, you know, you get all that good stuff, or treating the, you know, I shake their hand or know where they're from, and making products that then can really actually help people. Because it pains me to think about how many people like me are going through life still thinking what the doctors told them when they were kids, that they will never lead a normal life without ADHD medication, or without their antidepressant, or without their painkillers. And it's like, no, it's one, God didn't make us to live like that. And two, he gave us natural medicine, not just mushrooms. There's so many natural medicines. And a lot of friends of mine have used to heal their bodies. Like my buddy Roger, who his company is Fruiting Bodies Co., fruitingbodies.co. They're a wonderful company, high quality, everything's organic, really great. When I really started noticing the difference in taking these products, I bought them from Roger. He had Lyme's disease, and he used lion's mane and reishi and other herbal medicines to heal his body. My friend Jarrell down in Naples, Florida, near my hometown, he runs Stropharia Mushroom Farm. His father, I was just talking about this the other day, his dad has Parkinson's. He used to take like 15 different pills every single day. My buddy does a 100% water extraction on the lion's mane mushrooms he grows in his farm. He gives his dad 15 droppers over the point of over the day, and he went from 15 pills down to 3 pills. And it is significantly helped the management of his symptoms of his Parkinson's.
Wow.
So it's like I met a guy who fell out of a helicopter in Afghanistan. He came to visit us at the mushroom farm when I worked out in Ashland City. He fell out of a Black Hawk helicopter, saw all of his buddies get blown up, messed his leg all up, and walked around with his leg was twisted 90 degrees and his tendons were all messed up. He had PTSD, he had depression, and through taking microdosed psilocybin, lion's mane, and reishi mushrooms, healed his PTSD, healed his depression, and healed his leg. He was sitting there walking around in front of me like a normal person, and he showed me a video of like 1 year post his accident, how he was walking. And his physical therapist and his doctors are like, you shouldn't be able to walk like this. There's no reason why your tendons and your muscles should have regenerated like this. The only thing we can say that would do it is the mushrooms. Because reishi mushrooms have these compounds. It's called the mushroom of immortality in ancient Chinese medicine. It helps with inflammation. It helps with anti-cancer, antibacterial, antiviral, anti-inflammatory. Helps basically get the good stuff to your body through your blood. And after I started seeing all of these people, it's like, okay, this is very obviously something that is real. And it makes sense that, you know, it's been suppressed for so long because our government wants to keep us dumb and weak and injured and not capable of taking care of ourselves. But these are things you can literally grow in your closet. Put a little box, put a fruiting block in there, it'll grow reishi mushrooms or lion's mane. And it's accessible to so many people. People need to learn about it. And I'm super passionate about the healing properties of all fungus, you know, particularly lion's mane, but any of these mushrooms are incredibly good for you. And I'm super passionate about it because I've known and seen so many people get healing in their lives through using these things and then convinced me to try it. And I got healing in my life. And I want as many people as I can to have that and understand it and be able to give them the things and point them in the right directions to get that good stuff to heal their minds and bodies too. Because, I mean, God put us on earth to help each other, right? He literally threw this in my lap, and I used to be a doofus with a red punk rock mohawk and lip rings. I thought I was going to be a rock star. Hey, I guess I still am. Just a mushroom rock star, right? But like,
yes, you are.
I'm here because I just kept saying yes to God and just lived like this. I was like, okay, whatever you want to do, I'll go there. And I just keep doing that, man. And it'll be my life's work to get these mushrooms into the hands of as many people as possible.
That's good, man. Yeah, and I'm sure at the end we'll cover that if anyone wants to reach out to you or learn where they can get your mushrooms. Of course, on the store I didn't see how you get the exact product of mushrooms. I do see the things you made, but but we can talk about that later. But I guess the last question now, man, and I'm hoping nothing but the best for you and your business. What kind of goals or what vision do you have for Fungus Farm or
Fungus Ranch?
Fungus Ranch.
Fungus House.
Fungus House.
Yeah, goals for Fungus Ranch. Like I said, get this stuff in the hands of as many people as possible. Keep food out of the trash. And I mean, our mission statement is to just work with our community to provide the highest quality culinary and functional products to our clients, because mushrooms are magic and they're good for you and they can heal your body. That's the like broad goal. But I mean, the short term, our goals are a little more practical. We're about to grow our farming operation, triple our output from about 40 to 50 pounds a week to about 150 pounds a week. We're going to be starting a cordyceps grow as well. It's a cordyceps farm, which is this mushroom right here. Right, this one. It's orange. It's a cousin of the species that they talk about in The Last of Us. That's Ophiocordyceps unilaterus. We're talking about Cordyceps militaris here. We're going to start growing those. We're going to start growing more reishi mushrooms and turkey tail mushrooms, which again are huge immunity and anti-cancer properties. So growing more mushrooms. Then we're going to sell more mushrooms, and then continue to develop products for ourselves and our clients, as well as our clients. We have a great partnership in place with Mycosymbiotics out of New Cumberland, Pennsylvania. William Padilla Brown and his crew up there have been doing it for about 10 years. A lot of grassroots stuff, and a big goal is to continue to work with them and other small mushroom businesses to help get good products set up, not only formulating them, writing methods, but then also setting up the supply chain and the manufacturing here in Nashville or wherever. So the goals are get the good stuff in people's hands, keep food out of the trash, work together with as many people as possible to make good stuff. Again, so we can get the mushrooms in as many people's hands as possible.
I love it. I love it. Simple yet powerful. Go for it, my man. And I can't wait to hear more about what comes of this. I'll be back in Nashville next month, so maybe I'll try to run into you. I'm not sure.
Oh yeah, dude. We'll have to get
Sounds like you're
together.
super busy.
No, dude. I mean, we're at the Creve Hall Farmers Market every Thursday from 4:30 to 7. We're grilling up
Every
mushrooms,
Thursday?
and we got our every Thursday through September. But I mean, dude, we can get together and just grill at my house. Like
I
I
like
always
that.
got plenty of mushrooms.
We need to catch up. Yeah, we need to catch up.
Yes, we
Most
100%
definitely.
will do that. I'll cook you some good stuff.
Ooh. So I guess any final thoughts, or if anyone wanted to reach out to you, I'm not sure if you are open to the public or however.
Oh, 100%, man. I try to be an asset to everybody, man. If you're in Nashville, like I said, we're at the Creve Hall Farmers Markets, farming in the hall every week through the end of September from 4:30 to 7 p.m. We're happy to meet up with people, facilitate drop-offs. You can buy our products. You'll be able to get our products picked up at a few local markets here, like store locations, in the next few months. You can go to fungusranch.com. We have cool hats. We have shirts. We have tote bags. We have our signature mushroom umami sauce there as well. We will be launching our functional fire cider beverage on the website as well. And of course, if you ever want to just reach out to me and learn more, have me point you in the direction of some other friends of ours who you can get the products from right now. Hit me up on Instagram. It's just Alan the Fun Guy _ in between. Or you can just find us at Fungus Ranch, Fungus_ranch on Instagram and Facebook. I run the Instagram. It's me and a couple buddies. I'm always here. You can ask me questions. If you want some dried mushrooms, we're going to be, if you want dried lion's mane to make lion's mane tea at home, I can send you some. Heck, if you're a restaurant anywhere in the continental United States, I'm a Southwest recognized shipper. I can ship you fresh mushrooms the same day. All you got to do is go to the airport. So, I mean, I'm doing my best. Like I said, my goal is to get the good stuff in as many people's hands as possible. and be an asset to people, a resource to like, you want to learn about this stuff? Just hit me up on Instagram. I'll talk to you for an hour. I don't care. Like, this is fun for me because, you
I
know,
love
if
it.
you're coming to me and want to learn things, man, I want to tell you, go here, don't go there. Get this, try this. It's good. This is why it's good. You should try it. It doesn't suck.
Well, there you go, folks, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. If you want to get your hands on the good stuff and stop wasting so much, get in touch with Alan and the people at Fungus Ranch. Let's go ahead and bring this show to an end. This has been a great episode, episode 87 of Hey Rockstar, featuring Alan, the fun guy from Fungus Ranch. I'm your host, Josafat Emiliano. Today, we are with you from San Antonio and from Nashville, Tennessee. Other than that, just take this. For those of you who are interested in learning more about that product or learning more about what's it called, fermentation or a business that is deal with not necessarily fungus, but maybe you want to learn something about how to provide towards from farm to table kind of businesses, rewatch this video. Alan drops a lot of good value. So those of you just interested in a business like this, or you already find yourself in a business like this, please use this as a resource to learn, to grow, and reach out to Alan because he loves to network, and myself as well. So until next time, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I ask that you have, or until next time, much love and many blessings.